Well, hello there, world. It's Luann Pygett. Welcome to my kitchen in Southwest Florida, and I'm making a couple of things for dinner tomorrow. Dinner and or lunch, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to make some macaroni and cheese, and I'm going to make some lemon chiffon. And I am just about to the point here. Let me turn on my burner in the back. We're at the boiling water point here, so I'm going to put in my macaroni. I'm only making half the recipe because I don't want an overabundance, because it's just 3 of us, so I'm cutting it down a little. So this is half the amount. That's 2 ounces. No, 4 ounces. 4 ounces of macaroni. And we're going to set the timer. We're going to stir it a minute here. And then we're going to set our timer for 9 to 11 minutes. And I'm actually going to do the baking tomorrow. So I'm going to get it all ready tonight, then I'm going to bake it in the morning, so that way it'll be fresh and hot, but it'll be all mixed up tonight. So this is a shortcut here. So that's my macaroni. So now we're going to make the sauce. So I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of butter. And then we're going to add flour and salt. Okay, so while that's melting, I'm going to add about, let's see, I'm cutting this in half. Half would be 1/8 of a teaspoon. But I think it needs more than that. I'm going to do 1/4 of a teaspoon because I'm always wishing it had more salt in it. So let's do 1/4 of a teaspoon. I've got salt in this pan over here too, just for the macaroni will be seasoned. So we're going to have 1/4 teaspoon of salt. The melted butter, and that's actually salted butter too. So there's my salt. And then you're going to add, when this melts, I'm going to go ahead and get this milk. I've got the cup of milk ready, but I'm going to heat that in the microwave. You don't have to heat it in the microwave. It just speeds it up if it's already hot. So let's heat that for a minute. And then I'm going to get 2 tablespoons of flour, because that's 2 tablespoons of butter. So it's the same amount of butter and flour. Let me get my 2 tablespoons of flour. Let's see how we're doing here. There we go. We're just getting that to melt. Let me get this to stir. Make sure it's not sticky. And get my flour ready. 2 tablespoons of flour. Then we're going to pour the milk in there. This is real easy. This is a basic recipe plus 1 ingredient. So the 1 ingredient, I never liked the recipe. It was always too dry. And it would get frustrated because I'm like, how come the homemade recipe is not good? Well, it needs to be creamier. That's the problem. So what you do is you replace some of the milk with some sour cream. And actually, I don't need quite that much milk. That's all right. It's a quarter cup too much. So you need 3/4 of a cup of milk for this. We're almost here with the butter. So I'm going to go ahead and dump in the flour. And this makes a roux, which roux is basically flour with some butter or oil or something. That's a mix. It's just the mixture of it. So I'm going to stir that together and let it cook for about a minute to kind of cook your flour some. And then we're going to pour in the milk. So while that's doing that, and the sour cream you just add later. That is a really hot burner right there. Let's move my spoon over here. All right, hello Godiva. My little Godiva is slinking around in here. I don't know why, because she's already had her little milk for the day. So she's just creeping around, aren't you, Godiva? You creeping around? Hi, Godiva. But you're a pretty kitty. They already had their little taste of milk. They only get a teeny taste. But maybe, hi, Godiva. Maybe because I'm still, meow. Maybe because I'm still in here, she thinks she's going to get more. But she's not. Because milk is really not good for them. It makes them grow up because they don't digest it well. Say hi, Godiva. Godiva, meow. You want to give me 5? Huh? Give me 5? Give me 5? Come on. Give me 5. Give me 5. Pay no attention to the camera. Come on, give me. Diva. You little stinker. Diva. Give Mama 5. That's my girl. She says, now give me some more milk. You already had it, girl. We already did it. Diva. Give me 5? That's makeup on my hand. Give me 5. Oh, it's a good girl. See, she knows exactly what that means. She's so smart. And she's going to get mad because she doesn't get any more milk. Okay, let's pour that in. Let's see if I can give her a little drip of it here. You want some more milk? Here, I'll drip it on the pan. There you go. Go. Go right in. There's just a tiny little bit left in this cup. Now she really won't go away. It's like, ooh, I thought more. Oh, here comes Winnie saying, hey, 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 hey. How come she has more? Right, Winnie? Okay, so we're going to stir this in. Then we're going to add our cheese. I'm going to add 2 cups of cheese as soon as this comes to a little simmer here. What's going on, Winnie? She's looking at me like, nope, don't talk to me. Off she runs. So we will put in a cup of cheese, actually. 1 cup of cheese. I'm cutting because I'm cutting this in half. So let me add my cheese here. Was that good, Godiva? Yeah, that wasn't hardly anything to it. Yeah, you got a little sneaky extra, didn't you? And Gwenny saw it. Where was Gwenny hiding? She saw me give that to you. Okay, here we go. Cup of cheese. Let's see how much is in this bag. I may have to open another one. Yep, that's not quite a cup. So this is sharp cheddar cheese. This is what I usually use. Give it 6 more minutes for the macaroni. Let me see what this... Oh, we're bubbling here. Let me turn it back down. Okay. Stir this around. I think I'm going to get a little whisk here. That's a big whisk. I'll find a smaller one. A little bit smaller. So I'll whisk some of the lumps out of here. I'm going to turn that way down. There we go. So now it's a nice white cream sauce here. Let me get the rest of the cheese I need. Let's see, where did I just put it? Over here. I'm going to measure the rest of the cheese to get a cup of cheese. Oops, I'm dumping it everywhere. I'm doing it in a pan though, so it's just dumping it into the pan. So then I'm going to go ahead and put the cheese in there first because I want it to melt. And once I add the sour cream, it cools it down a little bit. So if I do, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the burner off though, because we do not need the burner on anymore. Let's get that, there we go. Let me stir that up. And that pretty much will just melt that cheese in there. 4 more minutes on the noodles. So it'll be really, really thick because I haven't added the sour cream yet. Let me stir my noodles here. We're almost done now. Alright, so let me get the sour cream. Put up this cheese. Godiva, what you doing? Little black kitty. Little pretty black kitty. You watching me? Alright, let me get my sour cream. So what did I say? I'm going to need a 1/4 cup of sour cream for this amount. It doesn't take a whole lot. Let me get my 1/4 cup measuring cup here. I'm going to stir this up to get it all nice and mixed together so we don't have it separated. Sour cream loves to separate. Then I'm going to put it here in my 1/4 cup measure. And this is the whole secret to making this good, is sour cream. But you want to reduce your milk by the amount of sour cream you put in, because if you don't, it's not really going to be as cheesy. So if you reduce the milk, so I reduced the milk by a 1/4 cup, then I'm adding a 1/4 cup of sour cream. So it's still the same amount of like cream stuff. Still the same amount of dairy product here. So you still have the same ratio of milk, sour cream, and to cheese. Because I tried it once by just adding in extra sour cream and it was too bland. It's better with this ratio. Either that or I guess you could add some more cheese, but then it's going to be thicker that way too. So rinse out my little milk cup. Then we have 3 minutes to go, and I'm going to stir this in, and that's our sauce right there. So good. drain these noodles here in about 2 minutes. Little Godiva, you coming back for more, baby girl? What you want? And where's my strainer? Have you seen it, Godiva? Where's Mama's strainer? Oh, it's on the sink. Get it ready. Hello, little kitty. You want to say hi to the peoples, huh? You want to say hi? There she is. All black. And here's the other one, Guinevere. Miss Guinevere's a tabby cat. Hey, Guinea. They're prowling. Y'all have had your little drop of milk. Because I'm still in the kitchen, you think you're entitled to more? Is that it, Godiva? Godiva. Look at those gold eyes. Hello, Godiva. And Gwenny says, yeah, I give up. Godiva. What you doing? Oh, you heard that, didn't you? She jumped. Her head jumped. You heard that? We got a minute to go, and we're going to drain these noodles. And then we are going to make a pie. Or it's kind of like a pie. It's lemon chiffon. And I forgot to get out my graham cracker crumbs. Let me get that in. Off she runs. I forgot my sugar too. Oh, didn't get out anything to make my crust. I just totally decided not to do it. Okay, here we go. I will be done with the flour. We need the sugar and the crumbs. Off they run, little girls. Little girl sister cats. Okay, we got 15 seconds. We're done with the sour cream. Let's put that up. Where you going, Gwenny? Off they run. It's not time to be fed. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. So it's an hour from when I feed them, and so they're antsy. Okay, here we go. Now we are done cooking the macaroni, so I'm going to drain that over here in the sink. And then we're going to pour it. I don't want to put that back on the hot burner, really. We're going to pour our noodles, get them drained a little bit, pour them into our sauce. Then we're going to stir it together, put it in a pan, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator overnight. Now normally I would put this right in the oven, but we're going to put this in the refrigerator overnight because I'm not going to cook it till tomorrow. There you go. You could eat it just like that. And it's really good baked. I'm going to bake it at 350 for, since this is half, it's probably only going to take 20 minutes. Okay, let me get my spatula here. Get this out of the way. Okay, this burner is not hot over here. So let's put that over there. And we're going to pour this into here. And make sure. I haven't used it in a while yet. It looks like it had something in the bottom, but it's actually scratches. What in the world's in the bottom of that pan? It scratches. Alright, as long as it scratches. Okay, here we go. Again, this is half the amount, so this is kind of a small pan. Half the amount of macaroni. And I'm also making for tomorrow, I'm making sweet potatoes. Candied sweet potatoes. Oh, they're so good. I already cooked them. I baked them in the oven and peeled them and chopped them. So I'm going to add butter and brown sugar tomorrow. So we're going to bake the sweet potatoes, we're going to bake the macaroni and cheese, and I'm also going to bake an apple cake. So here we go. This is really like spread thin in this pan. I could even use a smaller pan than this, I think. This will work fine. There we go. Now, like that cheese sauce is so good. Now, I think I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle it with paprika. I normally do it right before I bake it, but I don't think it matters if we do it an egg. So, I don't know why I have a spice thing on here that doesn't want to stay on the rack. There we go. It's going to fall over. So paprika is just like a ground red pepper, and it mostly adds color. So it gets your top to brown. You don't have to put that on there at all. You can totally skip it. It just is really to look pretty. And I usually bake that uncovered. Like I say, that's probably only going to take 20 minutes. Because it is not a lot. It's not deep. And it's a small amount. So there we go. Put this over here. Let's wait. I guess I can go ahead and... Well, I'm probably going to let it cool for a little bit. Then I will put it in the refrigerator. So this lid is cracked, but you don't bake it in this lid because it's plastic. So It's okay. We can live with it. Now, let's turn off this noise. So much nicer, isn't it? Then let's move this over here to my mixer. And we're going to make some, there we go. I'm going to pull that out in a minute. We're going to make some lemon chiffon. For some reason, this is not wanting to stand up for me. There. Normally I can get it to stand up, and sometimes it wants to fall. All right, let me get rid of some of this. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the crust. It has a graham cracker pie crust. Now you can buy pre-made in a pie plate, but I'm going to put this in a different pan. And the first thing I will make is the crust. So you can pre-bake the crust or not. Actually, I do usually pre-bake this. Let me get the pie crust recipe. Let me get to my recipe of that. And so I won't need this macaroni and cheese. Okay, so I'm going to need, what does it say? Bake at 375. Let me go ahead and turn the oven on. Because I do like to pre-bake it because it makes it kind of sweeter. It makes it sweeter to bake it. So let's move some of my stuff over here. Mostly what's in my way here is my cookbook. But oh well. Okay, here's my bowl. So I'm going to melt 4 tablespoons of butter. Now, normally I do this with unsalted butter, so let's do that. It doesn't really matter. You can use either one that you have. But I have an awful lot of unsalted butter, so let's use that up. So I'm going to put this in the microwave. Let's try 30 seconds and see what we get in the microwave. 4 tablespoons of butter. My Godiva's still over there slinking around and hiding. I'm going to use a cup of graham cracker crumbs. There's our measuring bowl. Measuring cup. This one is not open. I wonder if that means I have an open one in there somewhere. I might have. Maybe I don't have an open one. This is the only one I saw. Okay, so we'll open this up. Actually, I like to measure it like this, so if we have a little sloshy going on, it goes into the bowl. Because I do have a tendency to kind of make a mess with some of these measuring cups. Okay, so there's a cup of graham cracker crumbs. Then you're going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar. Let me put this back in the box here. You can also buy graham crackers that are just crackers and smash them up if you want to. Now, okay, that is not melted. Let's do another 30 seconds. What did I say? 3 tablespoons of sugar. This is regular granulated sugar. Get that ready. Okay. 1.5 tablespoons. Another 1.5 tablespoons. That equals 3. Okay. And then I'm going to mix those together. Then we're going to mix in the melted butter. Woo! I think that means it's melted and it's exploding in here. Alrighty then, exploding butter. Actually, it looks fine. Popped on me though. What are you doing in there, butter? Wild and crazy butter. Alright, so let's stir this together. Butter is really easy to make. I like it a little better than the store-bought one. It seems to be a little more tender, especially if you pre-bake it. It caramelizes it. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to put in the butter. The exploding butter. See, it even had a little piece in there. It wasn't completely melted. But it will smush around in here, so it'll be fine. We put this in here. And you just mix this together. And you can either put this in a pie plate, a pan that's like 8x8, 9x9, something like that. You can put it in a, you can even push this in a 9x13, a 10x10, you know, any kind of pan. It's just going to depend on how thick it is. So it really doesn't matter because the filling and the crust ratio will still be the same no matter what size pan you use. This will fit in a regular size pie plate or even as big as a 9x13. It just will be a lot thinner. But I'm using this pan. Let's see what size this is. This is probably an 8x10. It's an odd size. I'm going to spray it with non-stick spray. because this crust is notorious for sticking. Okay. So here is my little pan. So I'm going to, it gets where it's really hard to get this to even get the crust out. So I definitely spray this crust, if you bake it particularly. So then we're going to spread it in here. Then we're going to press it down. So you can either use the spoon, you can use a measuring cup to press it down, or even your hand, whatever you want to do. It's easy to do with your hand in a square pan like this. Turn it the other way, do it some more. So then, if you're not going to bake this, and you don't have to, it just depends on whether you like it a little more sweet and caramelized, you bake it. Otherwise, you can just leave it like this. If you're not going to bake it, you want to put this in the freezer for about 10-15 minutes so the butter firms back up. Otherwise, when you put the filling in here, it will kind of just, the crust will fall apart on you. It won't let you spread well. So put it in the freezer for 15 minutes or bake it. Baking it will also cause it to all kind of stay together. So I'm going to bake it. Let's see, what temperature are we on here? We aren't quite to temperature. So it's going to be at 375 for 6 to 8 minutes. It really doesn't take very long. This one's kind of thin. Probably won't take more than 6 minutes. So we are going to, so that's the end of the crust. So let me get rid of this recipe and move to the filling. Let me put up this butter because I'm not going to need that. Here's my little Godiva watching Mama again. They don't usually watch me this much. I wonder if she's going to run off when I turn on the mixer. They do that a lot. Okay, so I have 3 ounces of cream cheese that I made sure was softened. And let me move this out of the way. Here's my mixing bowl. First, we're going to make whipped cream. So I actually need, now that I think of it, I need the other attachment. So let me put that on there to make whipped cream. So the recipe calls for Cool Whip. I'd rather not use Cool Whip. I like to use real whipped cream. And I need 3 cups of whatever you're going to use, Cool Whip or whipped cream. So if you're going to make 3 cups of whipped cream, you need to start with 1.5 cups of the liquid. So this is heavy whipping cream, also in other countries known as double cream. It's the one that has the most milk fat in it, the most in it. And so that's like the 1/2 cup right there, so I need another cup. Let me open another one. It's getting a little hard to find this in the store right now. Supply issue deal. So I just see my oven light went off, so let me go put this crust in there. Like I say, I think it's only going to take the 6 minutes. Let's check it. Set it for 6 minutes. Then let's pour in the other cup. So I get 1.5 cups of cream of the liquid. And then when you beat it, it's going to double in size. And you'll have your 3 cups. Okay, so let's put it in here. And then I usually add, I'm going to need about 6 tablespoons of powdered sugar to go with this amount. So you put 1/4 cup of powdered sugar per cup. And I have 1.5 cups, so that's 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons. Ooh, crash. So let's get this. I've got it in my mixer. Let's pull this up. Oops, I'm knocking stuff over back there. Let me get my powdered sugar in here. And make whipped cream. I say, if you would rather use Cool Whip, you can. I just don't really like Cool Whip very well. It's actually much more unhealthy for you than this is. Okay, here we go. Start it a little bit slow. thick. Oh, we're getting there now. Okay, so we are most likely, yep, we are there. So let's take this out, take this off. I'm going to take the whipped cream out of the bowl, and I am going to scrape it into another bowl temporarily, because we have to mix the other ingredients up before we go back and use this. And the reason you do want to sweeten your whipped cream is because Cool Whip is sweetened, and that's, since that's in the recipe, they were using sweetened Cool Whip, so this way you get sweetened whipped cream. If you wanted to not sweeten it, I suppose you could. It'd just be less sweet, I guess. Alright, so there's that. Okay, so we're going to put this back on. You don't have to wash it because you're going to put the whipped cream back in there anyway. We're going to start with this right here. Alright, so now we're going to add our ingredients. This is very nice, a no-bake pie. So we're going to have 3 ounces of cream cheese. Again, you want that really softened. That's also a little hard to find right now. 3 ounces of cream cheese, and we're going to pull this back up. And we're going to beat that until it's nice and creamy. Going to add a can of sweetened condensed milk. That's this one, not evaporated, but this is the one that's sweetened. That's why you don't add any more sugar to this pie, because you already got it here. And then we're going to, this is one of the more modern, one of the newer ones I bought that's real super thick now. I don't know why they're thicker now than they used to be, but they are. Okay, so we're going to put this in here. And this is not an old one. It's in a good date. It just didn't used to be this thick. It's really interesting. It doesn't seem to affect it though. And there's our minute morning. I do want to check that just since it's really a thin crust. I'm going to make sure I want to check, see what it looks like. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take it out because it's getting brown on the edge. All right, so then we're going to turn the oven off because we do not need the oven. Okay, so if you totally want to skip the oven, just put that in the freezer, like I said, instead of the oven. Okay, let's put the rest of this in here. So you just want the whole can of this. So some people don't like the taste of sweetened condensed milk in desserts, and so if you don't, this is probably not the dessert for you. Unless you can think of a different way to do this without the canned milk. I don't know what to, I suppose you could cook down milk and sweeten it or something. I don't know how. You know, you'd have to look that up online. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Can you make homemade sweetened condensed milk? You might can. Sounds like a lot of work, though. Making homemade whipped cream is not that much work. Okay, oh, I forgot to turn that off. I turned off the oven, but not the timer. Okay, let me put the rest of this in. So tomorrow morning, I'm also going to make this. Okay, this dessert I'm making now is not for tomorrow. This dessert, Mom and I are intending to go to a local, I guess it's like a revival, guest speaker whom we've heard on TV that's coming to a local church here. It's not our church, but we have watched him on TV before, and he's really good. He lives in Kentucky, and his name is Tommy Bates, and if you've ever heard him, he's a really good old-fashioned Pentecostal preacher, and he's coming to town, and so we're going to go see him. He's here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, locally, And this is going to be our dessert. She doesn't know it. Well, this is going to be our dessert for the week, the midweek. Ah! I keep bumping this. The midweek church function. Okay, there we go. Let's get some of this off of here. I think that's pretty good right there. But tomorrow's dessert's going to be apple cake, which I'm going to make in the morning because it's so much better when it's hot. But this, see, this you put in the freezer. And this is how you know you had that cream cheese softened enough, is that it doesn't make cream cheese lumps in this. So since you can put this in the freezer, it'll keep till Tuesday. Okay, so now I'm going to make you 1/2 cup of lemon juice. So I'm going to do some lemons here. I'm going to get my lemon squeezer. That's not it. So let's see, where is my lemon squeezer? Maybe it's over here on the drain. Yep, it is. Okay. Wait, use this cup for lemon juice, and then let's take our lemons and we will cut them and squeeze them till we get 1/2 cup of lemon juice, and then you just mix that in and add your whipped cream and you are done. So super easy. Pour it in the pie crust, put it in the freezer. And this is, because I think of the whipped cream and the condensed milk, it never freezes like hard as a rock. You can eat this straight from the freezer. You can even let it thaw 5 or 10 minutes and it'll be plenty. It's really a good summer dessert too, if you want a nice summer dessert. In Florida, Southwest Florida, is summer most of the year round. Although it's actually going to be cold. Sunday, it's going to be warmer by Tuesday and Wednesday though. So by the time we eat this, it's going to be warmer again. All right, let's cut another lemon. Take off the sticker. Little Godiva is stalking me back here again. Y'all think it's time to eat? It's not, girls. You got a little while yet. You got 35 minutes before your dinner time. That's why they're stalking me. Like, are you getting our meal? Are you getting our dinner? Nope, I'm not getting your dinner, girls. They used to be too scared to come in here with a mixer, and she's not anymore. It's quite interesting. She's decided it's safe, I guess. Okay, here we have another one. Squeeze. Whoops, that was a juicy half right there. Now tell me, why is it that 1/2 cup is always like 2.5 lemons? Well, I'm going to do it 1/2 lemon. It likes to do that. Hello, Godiva. Are you inching closer, huh? Godiva? Hey, Miss Godiva. It was probably going to need, seriously, like 1/2 lemon. Godiva. Guess you can just always use it for something else. Okay, let's try that. See what level we're at here. Oops. Oops. Get back here. All right, then here we go. Yep, 2.5 lemons. Of these size, anyway. It's 1/2 cup. Oh, she's closer again. You're going to be under my feet in a minute, right? Okay, so here is my 1/2 cup. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. 1/2 cup of lemon juice. Yep, here we go. We're going to add that into this. You wouldn't think that was a lot of lemon juice, but it makes it real lemony. And it's also real sloshy. You have to stir it real slow. To start with. Okay, so there's that. Then we're going to put in about half this whipped cream to get that started. Mix that in. That'll lighten it up so we don't deflate all the whipped cream. Whoa. Okay, then we're going to put in the rest of the whipped cream. Just 3 cups either of whipped cream, Cool Whip, whatever you want to put in. Ooh, it's so lemony smelling. Yum. Okay. There we go. Oops, oops, oops. Stir that in. It's so nice and fluffy. Okay, that's pretty much your filling right there. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, I've made a whole lot of dirty dishes doing all this. So here is our slightly cooked, pre-cooked pie crust. And I'm just going to pour the filling in here, and it will go into the freezer. Now, if you'd rather store this in the refrigerator, you can. It's just softer. If you like it ice cold and you want it a little more firm, put it in the freezer. And then from the freezer, you can either thaw it 5 or 10 minutes or eat it straight from the freezer. It's on how cold and how firm do you want it. If you cut it straight from the freezer, I would suggest you like heating your knife, under hot water. It'll cut easier. So this will go straight in the freezer to my mother's house, and we will have this midweek before our little adventure to go hear Tommy Bates. Okay. And she just loves him, and I don't think he's been on TV for a while. Not sure he still broadcasts on TV. Probably, it's expensive to do that. You may not be able to afford to keep doing it. So we haven't heard him in ages. So then you just pour this in, spread it around, and poof, that's it. No cooking. So good. Creamy and lemony. Does not need any more whipped cream or anything on top of this. Don't add any more cream. It's creamy enough. It's very rich. You don't need big pieces. And I will be done for the night once I clean up this mess. I will be done cooking. Although this doesn't count as cooking. This counts as mixing. Because other than the crust, we didn't cook any of it. This is a no-bake refrigerator, what they call refrigerator pie. No-bake pie. Icebox pie. They used to call it icebox pie. It's icebox is what you called a refrigerator when you had to, before you had electricity, you had to just put a chunk of ice in it. Which, interestingly enough, my grandfather used to deliver ice when they did that. He did that as an extra income maker. So he was a farmer, and he did farming, but he would get up early in the morning before dawn and go get ice and deliver it to people's houses. He'd hire sometimes the boys in the neighborhood to help him out. They would work for him, and he'd pay them, and they'd go deliver it to people's houses. But you didn't have to wake people up. You just walk in their house, because you knew all of them. They knew you too. You just walk in their house, go put it in their icebox, and they would order what they wanted when they wanted it. And that was one of his jobs that he did to make extra money. Was he had an ice wrap. So he was a very industrious person. My grandfather did lots of things, lots of jobs. There you go. Lemon chiffon. So I hope you've enjoyed watching, and tomorrow I will come on in the morning, do my makeup, and do some baking, cooking then as well to finish up the rest of dinner. And until then, have a very blessed evening. Good night.